What's up, baby girls? Thank you for tuning in to Say That Podcast, episode 5. We have a very exciting. Wait. Hold up. Mmm. Snackables.
They taste good.
Goodness gracious.
I might have to dab.
Y'all might have just did something.
Ryan's so ugly. Damn. Okay.
But they do taste good.
They do taste good. Yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. This is Say That Podcast, episode 5. We're back, better than ever. But today's topic will be going over school and happiness. And what does that mean? We'll get into that in a little bit. But just like as always, we're gonna see how everyone's doing. So, what's everyone been up to?
Well,
Who's going to answer that question?
go Dallas.
Me.
Dallas, you're the best guy at telling us what happened, bro.
Yeah.
That's true, Dallas.
The
That's
best
true.
guy.
That's true.
Interesting. Well, recently I've really just been up to working and trying to figure out how to save my money to get what I want.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's the struggle out here, cuz.
Okay, it's hard.
Good.
It's hard.
Say that.
Sometimes you're trying to get a 4 for 4.
Nigga, but you only got 3.
But you only got 3.
That's what I'm saying.
Crazy out here, bro.
Whatever, though. Just school. It's dead week at UW Community College Edition. So it's a lot to go over, and it's Memorial Day weekend this weekend. Shouts out to Brian.
Shout out to Brian.
Yeah, so just been enjoying this little break that we're getting.
It's very nice.
What about you, Anna?
Just finished, or this past weekend, just watched Deadpool 2 and Ready Player One. Both.
Oh,
were pretty
yeah?
lit.
I heard mixed reviews from Ready Player One. Did you like it?
How'd you feel about it?
I thought it was pretty good, but when I watched it, we kind of just streamed it on this Dookie website that has like Vietnamese subtitles because my mom wanted to watch it too. So like,
Oh,
half the screen was covered in
no.
Vietnamese subtitles, plus like an overlay of Chinese subtitles,
Oh, wow.
and the quality was like 240p, so it's pretty lit.
No.
So I'm probably gonna rewatch it. And like the audio was
Boy.
pretty bad, so I can only like kind of pick out words in every sentence.
Did you see
Mhm.
people walking like out of the aisle every like 30 minutes?
And you hear someone cough.
Oh,
you see?
Was
that is ham.
That's
Yeah.
pretty sad.
I didn't get the full
Dang.
experience, and like a lot of like, the animation and CGI in the movie looked pretty insane. So I hope to watch it again with like the full experience.
It was
Definitely missed
insane.
a lot because there's so much going on, and all I could see was pixels. So I was like, "Fuck."
That's hella sad.
But
Insane
Yeah.
in the membrane.
I really liked that movie. I did.
Did that make you happy, Dallas?
What about you, Brian?
Oh, a little bit.
Me? I've been chilling.
Oh,
Like a
yeah.
villain.
Oh, really, Brian?
Really? You wanna-
like
Chill.
always. Like
Just
always.
Would you like to go into it, sir?
Jobless.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to go to school, so trying to get prepared. Physically. Yep.
What?
And
Okay.
mentally.
Okay.
Yeah. 'Cause I've been out of school for quite a while now, so
Yeah.
it's gonna be.
It's gonna be a big transition, man.
Oh yeah, like just
Big
the
transition.
mindset, Yeah.
You're gonna have to write a
Getting back
paper.
into
You're gonna have a panic attack. You're gonna be fine.
like every other student procrastinate and
no.
Did you just
Yeah.
assume?
My gender.
that's what you do. Okay, that's what you do.
Did you just assume my work ethic?
It's 2018.
Dang.
Get offended.
Speaking of worth ethic, I can't say anything right now. Speaking of work ethic, my work ethic has been trash this past weekend. God, I went to the U District on Friday, and of course I blacked out. That night was crazy, bro. We got to this party. and then we just started drinking, right? And then I was already like pretty wasted, and then me and my friend David went to go get some euros. So we got some euros, and then we came back and we started drinking more. And then I think I blacked out at that point, and then it's my homie David driving, and we go to some dim sum restaurant in Chinatown. And I was
At
like, bro,
2
this
in
is
the
great.
morning? In the morning?
It was like 3 in the morning.
Huh, that's crazy.
And then I'm eating a little bit, and then I black out again. And then I wake up in the parking lot of a Winco. So like we go inside, we pick up some like Pedialyte and stuff. And then I black out again. And we're like in front of his house. I'm just like, damn, bro, what a night. He was like, yeah, bro, you good? I'm like, hell yeah. And then just Saturday was a recovery day. Sunday.
Did you grab some
Got-
pho?
Oh yeah, I got some pho at your house for sure. Good looking, and I appreciate you. And,
Oh yeah, huh?
Yeah. I was at
He
your
asked you the
house.
question. He asked you the question. He's the one who gave it to you.
Yeah, and then Sunday, you know, y'all linked up and got lit.
Oh yeah.
Like
My guy Brian over here, you know,
Mhm.
Chill, chill,
did his
chill.
thing.
Too lit.
Did his thing.
His thing.
Spitting
I am
game.
pull.
It
Little
was
baby
fun.
Brian was
girls.
flowing.
I am pulls baby girls. That's all I can say.
It was crazy.
You know.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Nice. That's a last minute kickback. You know, last minute notice. It's getting a little bit loud. It's getting rowdy. You know, downstairs neighbor came up and, you know, complained. So,
Oh shit.
but overall, it wasn't too bad. You know, we had fun.
It was
Anna
pretty
got to
fun.
watch. Anna
A
got to
lot of
watch
things
all of us
happened.
dead.
Yep, a lot of things happened. A lot of
Yeah.
puke.
That's crazy. So, transitioning, the school year is coming to an end pretty soon. A lot of people got like a week or two left before they're out for the summer.
Yep.
What?
Angela, you said your finals are this coming week?
So this is dead week, and then the week after this one. So like literally the week we're in. So technically next week
Mm-hmm.
is finals week, and I guess we're out for the summer, which is kind of weird to think about, considering feels like I've just been in school every single day since I was born. But
True.
it honestly feels like I've never had a break. But yeah, it's just crazy.
Yeah, I feel like this school year in particular went by way faster than most of them. I don't know if it's just because I'm getting old, but this one just flew by. Like honestly,
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it's just because we've become so like accustomed to this routine at this point where we're just like, yeah, it's whatever. It's like my daily life. Just do it.
yeah,
Go
for
home.
sure, for sure.
9 months straight, and then there you go.
Do you guys find it that as we get older, it's kind of harder to appreciate summer? Like I remember when we were like in middle school, elementary school, summer when it came by, it was like the best day of our lives. Like getting on the bus and going home when it was like the first day of summer break, it was like the best feeling ever. But now it's just like it feels like any other day, and I was just like, oh, it's summer. It's
I feel like
and then
I
the
feel like that's
summer-
because back then summer break meant that we were relieved from all like responsibilities because like none of us could get jobs back then, so the only thing we really could do was just like fuck around and play video games all day.
Yeah.
But now we have like jobs and summer school and this and that. It's just like fuck, it's just another day.
But you know what the crazy thing about that is? We still just fuck around and play video games all day.
I'm cheesed.
That's
I'm
true,
cheesed.
good.
I'm cheesed.
Oh shit. It's just we just have the impending doom of responsibility, like looking over our shoulders. So
Yeah.
There's that added onto it.
Yeah.
Life.
So Brian, when you go back, have you set a date or time, or you just thinking about it right
For-
now?
For school?
Yeah.
Hopefully this month or like beginning of this month. I submitted
Okay.
all my documents like FAFSA and all that. So as soon as those get processed, then I should be picking out my classes. I mean, it's online courses, so
Mm.
you know it shouldn't be too bad.
Oh yeah, that'll be easy. You don't have to be anywhere. Just do it at your
Yeah, I
own
mean,
pace.
shit. Hopefully,
Yeah, that'll be nice. Yeah. What about you, Anna? You sound like you had a pretty rough quarter this time around with all your CS classes.
Oh yeah, this very tough quarter for me because a lot of the classes that I took this quarter were very unfamiliar. Even though like every class should be somewhat unfamiliar, but this was like almost like 100% unfamiliarity with me because I had algorithms, machine organization, and stats. Stats, I've never taken a stats class before. Algorithms is like super math heavy and abstract and conceptual, and machine org is like very low level. So just having all these different areas that I have to kind of start from the bottom up and get that foundation was super challenging. And before, in my fall and winter quarter, I was taking it slow by only taking like 12 credits, which is still considered full time, but it's like the least amount of credits you can take to be considered as a full time student. And then the spring quarter, I took 17 credits to see how I can handle it and see how my work ethic is, and being a student, how good I am at it. That didn't really work out too much, but you know, it's dead week, trying to get ready for finals week, but not too shabby.
So do you think you're gonna go back down to 12 credits as opposed to 17, or just keep up
No,
17?
because I actually kind of regret doing those 12 credits because now I guess I'm technically behind a single class. So then I'm either gonna have to like take one extra quarter just for one class, or either take one summer class. But I will most likely just take a summer class while taking a job in the summer, and hopefully I can juggle that.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like insurance in a sense for like, let's say like your next batch of classes are gonna be like super hard. You can take 2 of those, and then since you already have to take that one class in single quarter, you can just add it on to that quarter, so your workload gets a little lighter. Since
Ooh, that's a good idea.
yeah,
I should
but
probably do that.
you got it, you got it.
Hopefully.
But yeah, man, Dallas, what about you?
What about it?
I feel like all of us have like taken different paths in terms of like
Yeah.
education. It's weird that we all branched out and all did different things. And,
Yeah,
like, all of
Yeah.
us
I
have
mean,
our own stories.
I can talk about it for a little bit. Here, hold on.
I mean,
just give us.
no, you
give us
have-
your- yeah, no.
You have an interesting perspective. You have an interesting perspective because like all of us are in school, and like I feel like you're definitely one of the most like educated in the sense where like you're more in tune with like with yourself, and like you're more in tune with like how society works because like you read
Mhm.
books all the time. So like I feel like I'm not as street smart as you.
I mean, you might be right, but I don't know. I think being out of school and being on my own for like a year has definitely, I've realized a lot of things about myself that I wouldn't have realized per se, like in school, because I'm constantly distracted by homework and people and like and friends and everything. Like literally feel like I've been on my own for like a year and a half, just like learning about everything. And it's been like this last year and a half since I haven't been to school has been like, it's been like depressing, but like not in a really a bad way. Like I've just realized a lot of what's holding me back, and I've realized what a lot of my challenges are that I need to overcome in order to go where I want to go. If that makes
So-
sense.
So what are some of these challenges that you're talking
Well-
about? If you feel like sharing.
Yeah. So like in the podcast we talked about before, we talked about procrastination, and like I've realized that I deal with like really heavy procrastination, and I like you sometimes when you have procrastination, you don't really understand why. So I've been trying to like spend a lot of time to really dive deep and figure out why I'm like don't do the things that I tell myself that I want to do. Like you'll say, "Oh, I want to go to the gym," and then you won't go for like a month. It's like why am I lying to myself per se?
Yeah,
So-
I'm right there with you, man.
Yeah, so you have to do like a lot of deep diving and really just sit and just think for a while and just really try to understand yourself. And when you do that, you realize a lot of things. And sometimes it's that you don't want it like as bad as you say that you want it, or that you don't make it as serious as a priority as you're telling yourself it is. Like when you say you want to do something, saying it doesn't really prove to you in your subconscious that that's actually what you want to do. It takes a lot more mental energy and like motivation to really push your whole entire being into like turning that into a real true goal, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. Like,
It's it's
like
interesting that you say that because I've also been like watching a lot of YouTube videos and like studying up on like why people procrastinate and like how can you discipline yourself to stick to these goals that you set for yourself. And a lot of things that I've seen is that you're more likely to follow through with something if you set that activity on like a schedule. Like you do that
yeah,
thing at this certain time of the day for this many days of the week. But I've tried that and it kind of does work, but you know, just a lack
it's
of discipline kind of, you know, makes you fall short on like
yeah,
actually
it
doing it.
does. It does.
I
And
have
one of the
a
key things, well, you can go, Angela.
I just had like a general question about maybe it's not a lack of discipline, or maybe it's just a lack of discipline in what you want to put that discipline into, if that makes sense. Because I just wanted to talk about like you not going to school was a choice. So a lot of people don't think that either. Or I mean, don't think that they should be going to school either. So
Yeah.
why or why not isn't school for everyone, like your point of view?
Why isn't it for everyone? Well, I guess that just depends on everyone's perspective of society and the world per se, and how they want to fit in it. And for me, somewhere in like in our senior year of Highline, like I just really felt like school was like retarded.
Oh wow.
Because like just the whole environment of like GPA, and we're taking classes that like 90% we're not gonna remember, all to get this good grade and degree that really doesn't mean much except for the employers that look at that and be like, oh, this guy's disciplined, quote unquote. And then they'll let you into their company where you can prove that you're a good worker and they'll give you a good salary. You can move up higher and prove to people lower than you that you're basically like a stature of what they want to become, and then you become, you know, just like in this company, you're making good money, and then they're paying you what they feel like you should deserve, being in their employee and all. And I look at
Hmm.
this and I
Mm.
realize, like, for me, I really don't have anything against that personally because a lot of people don't really want that much in life. Like, they just want to make good money, have a house, have kids, and be able to do what they want outside of work, like, and just enjoy themselves, right? And there's definitely nothing wrong with that, like, at all. Like, my parents do that. I don't hate my parents, and like everyone I know does that for the most part. I don't know anyone who's gone outside of that and tried to do anything. But for some
Okay.
reason, like I feel like, well, I see other people doing that, like online and on TV, and like all these other people doing these things that I've never personally seen anyone do. So why don't I try to do something outside the box and like, you know, make my own path and see what happens? And I, dropping out, I've realized like if you really want to do that, it takes way more work than what school forces you to do. Like you really have to become like an entirely different person outside of school to do that kind of stuff. Like your discipline has to be on point. Your goals and dreams have to have deadlines. Everything has to be on point if you want to succeed outside of the school system because everything's pretty much stacked against you essentially, and it just
Interesting.
requires a lot like of work and passion.
Crazy.
And
So
I've just been trying to figure out how I can like align myself with that and do what I need to do and still be successful like without school.
so I have a going off that, Dallas. I have a question for all of you guys. Um, Throughout your years in the education system, and Dallas and Brian, for the time that you spent outside the education system, what are some things that you guys feel like you could have done better, like within school and like when your
Within
time outside
school,
of school? Yeah.
I have a lot of things, but I want to let Brian go first.
Um, like, are we talking about like
Just
previous
like,
like high school
I mean, just like things that you knew now that you wish that you knew back when you were in school.
before,
Yeah.
right? Well, for me, unlike you guys, like I haven't been like I didn't go to college straight out of high school. I did do like a semester of Running Start, just taking a couple college courses throughout senior year. But other than that, like I didn't go through the traditional way of attending college right after high school, but I mean, for me, if I were to go back to high school, I would focus on my grades a lot more, you know? Like I wasn't the best student, so my grades weren't that great. So I think that's the only thing that I wish I can change, or when if I could go back, is not caring about, you know, trying to fit in and the popularity and all that
Mm,
social
Yeah.
anxiety, but just, you know,
gotcha.
do my own thing, like focusing on me instead of caring about what other people think about me or what's going on with other people, you know. And I feel like that's what difference on like college is, like people really don't care what you do or what you look like, how you dress. It's like everyone's like depressed and sad. So, you know, people are doing their own thing, and I really like that.
Yeah, people in
But
middle school and high school are always so judgmental, make you feel
yeah,
self-conscious, and
yeah.
it kind
So
of diverts your focus on the more important things because you're just like in this environment and culture where your clothes matter the most, how you present yourself matters the most for some reason, and like once you slip once, it's just OB for you. It's pretty bad.
mhm.
It's not a good environment at all. And you realize that once you get to college, like you said.
Yeah, you can like freely express the
Yeah,
things you want to do. You have a lot
Wait,
more
that's
time in college
Yeah.
as well.
yeah,
Anna,
that's
I
the
have a
biggest.
I have a question for you, Anna. So
No.
you know how you and I were in Avid, right, Mr. Hines? And one of the big things he was like always trying to tell us about was like go to college and do well in school. Like back then, like we kind of got the general message of like, yeah, okay, we have to get good grades to, you know, go to a good college, you know, live a good life. But I feel like school back then, like, kind of didn't do a good job of really like outlining what's at stake if we don't do well there, like now.
Hmm.
Because like after high school, like you're on your own, and you kind of don't really have too much of like a general direction, like what you're supposed to be doing. And like, you know, some people, like you guys were saying in high school, they didn't do too well just because of like, you know, social ladders and this and that, or just like they felt like, you know, I'm gonna graduate anyways, like why do my grades matter? But I feel like at least for me, like it would have been nice if like we had a place where someone were to tell us that we have so much on the line, and like this is like one of the only times in our life where we can really like lay out a solid foundation for yourself. Would do you have any comment on that?
Yeah, so I was fortunate enough to have family connections and resources I could just ask about what I should be doing. Because once you hit like sophomore, junior year, that's when things kind of start getting serious and where you kind of have to consider this transition from high school to college. So then I was, I guess, smart and fortunate enough to understand how important that part and section of your life is. So I asked my older brothers, my cousins that already went through all of this and asked their input on like what I should do. So that's where I kind of encountered the Running Start program and all those little small intricacies that you can kind of do to make yourself stand out when trying to get into that transition and discovering what you should be doing to kind of make that foundation. So I was lucky enough to kind of just go out of my way, ask questions, and see what I should be doing to set things in stone that I should be doing to be successful in the long run.
Yeah,
That's my comment on
for
that.
sure.
And I think Avid was like I just feel like students themselves just don't have the motivation and realization how important that part of your life is. So I think maybe it's just because students are just not going out of their way to kind of figure out what they need to be doing. They're just kind of being absorbed in that environment and not really
Yeah,
paying attention to the bigger things and the bigger picture. Which is fine because it's it's your high school career. It's supposed to be living young, being part of ASB or like going to football games and all that like traditional high school stuff. But it's definitely pretty important in high school to kind of sit down and just sit back and just look at the bigger picture when you need to and figure out what you need to do. I don't know like exactly when that happened or when I came to realization. Maybe my brothers were, giving me heads ups like, yo, high school is middle school and elementary school, like they don't care about anything that when colleges look at your stuff. But high school is when they actually care about. And I remember like that they're always like pounding that into my head. It's like, make sure to keep your grades high because high school is where your grades actually count when it comes to setting your future up and stuff like that. So
Say that.
Say that.
Say that.
Say that.
Say that.
I don't know. I
So
think
I
I was
have
just
a-
fortunate because I know people are don't have the same resources as everyone else. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I think for everybody it's gonna be different, which is kind of why it's just I don't know. That's hard.
So I have another question for you guys. How do you think academic success or like success career-wise affects your mental health?
Interesting.
Huh.
I'm gonna give Angel the mic in this one real quick, Dallas.
Yeah.
I just think that's like the thing that's basically essentially wrong with the school system and working your way up into higher education and basically tearing yourself off into the world of work is that you always have to aim to basically like essentially be the best. And I always thought that you have to reinvent yourself outside of school and work in order for yourself to succeed in school and work. Like you have to work on like your social skills. Basically it is just your social skills and being able to connect with other people because in a school and work environment, without that, your mental health would essentially deteriorate because you only focus on your school or work. But I
Yeah.
just think the stigma of always having to do well is what either makes people overstress or just turns people away from going to school in general.
Interesting.
But that's just my take on it.
What about you, Dallas? You said.
Dang,
Shut up,
he's
right?
You said, give me the wheel. Give me the wheel.
Be quiet.
Yeah.
Let's see, mental health, and as it relates to success or attempting to succeed, I should say.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, especially when it comes to college, like being in college, especially freshman year, I realized that you have to put in a lot of effort if you want to get all A's, like a lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
Because like the
it's-
first month of school, I already had so much work to do, and I was like not even prepared for that. So I know it would take a lot of energy to get all A's. Like I don't even know if I would be able to do that, to be honest, because you literally have to like just close yourself off and just do work every day, study every day, just for a chance to get a 4.0. And yeah, that's definitely one reason why I feel like school isn't for everyone, because not everyone's like prepared to put that much energy and effort into their education. And the thing is, I don't really think you necessarily have to, especially in college, because at the end of the day, you're there for your degree so that you can prove that you are competent in whatever field or major that you decide to study in. But I know that for a fact that having a 4.0 definitely gives you an advantage, like as an potential employee. So
like, what is this result of all of your endeavors trying to get this 4.0? How does that affect your mentality? Like, hey, I got this 4.0, I can keep doing this. Like, this wasn't even that bad. Like, I proved to myself that I was able to put in this work.
yeah, that's what I was gonna go back into. So like, I feel like let's say you did put in the work and you did end up getting a 4.0 for like majority of college, right? And you graduate. Like you did that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this kind of runs two ways at the same time. Like one side of you will be like, wow, I'm really like capable. I really did that and put in the work and did that. And that'll kind of boost your ego a lot, right? Then there'll be the other side of you that you kind of neglected that entire time. Like I'm sure in order to do that, there were a lot of times where you didn't go out. Like I'm sure you didn't go out really at all, like majority of your college life, because you can't really focus on that. Like I'm sure socially you didn't really get a whole lot of experience. Like most people I know who have 4.0s are really, honestly, some of them are really involved in like extracurricular activities and whatnot, but it's not really for the activities itself. It's for like proof that they can do the extracurricular activity, and it's for like for a resume and just for all that kind of stuff. But I just feel like mentally it splits you. It boosts your ego in one sense, but at the same time, it like there's this part of you that you've neglected, and they kind of, I don't know. It's just kind of a weird energy that you eventually will have to deal with at some point. I just feel like eventually you have to go back and kind of find what it means to like relax and like actually chill and just enjoy yourself,
Right.
because the work amount of work it takes to get a 4.0, you kind of like lose touch with that. I mean, I feel like there are people that have gotten 4.0s that are in touch with that, but I don't think they're the majority. And I think the people that can do that are like gods, because that's insane.
Yeah. All right. So my last question to all of you guys is, what is happiness to you in terms of like success? Like what is a good source of happiness for you when it comes to just anything, really? Because for me, a good source of happiness for me is like success in school or success in work. Because I procrastinate a lot, and I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. So when I put effort into something and I do it well and I get good feedback for it, I feel fulfilled, because all the time that I sit around not doing anything and I let things pile up, like that just gives me anxiety. So I feel like for me, it's very liberating to be able to, put your hands on something and, make something out of it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yep.
I guess.
think for me, like personally, you know, I'm still trying to learn, trying to figure out what I need to do to become happy, or just happiness. Like I feel like I don't know what happiness is, at this point of my life. Still trying to figure it out. It's, like eating, playing video games, those aren't, to me, that's not happiness. Like I'm still trying to learn what true happiness is. And
Yeah.
I think eventually for a lot of people, it will come to them, eventually and later down the life. But at this point, I'm only 20, like beginning of my life, still trying to figure it out. So
Yeah, I guess.
Do you guys feel
Or,
like? Oh, go ahead, Angelo.
Oh yeah, just gonna say, like, for me, I kind of ride your tails on saying that it does have to do with a lot with like success and being able to do it on your own. But in my personal opinion, I think not success, but happiness has to do a lot with basically the setting you put yourself in and the people around you. Because you can have all this money, all this success, like be the richest person in the world, but if you have no one to share that with, then like it's all pointless to me. Like, I think happiness comes with the people you surround yourself with and being able
Say
to
that.
share
Say
everything
that.
you
Yeah.
have with them.
Say that. Say
That's
that.
that's actually what I was also
That's
gonna
true.
say.
I fuck with that too. Say that. Say that. Dang.
Yeah,
Well,
I think I was just
go
gonna
ahead,
add one
Dallas.
thing. Like the only time that I've really felt happy is when like I'm hanging out with people that like are truly accepting and loving.
Say
You know what I
that.
mean?
Say
Yeah.
that.
That's the only time you really
Yeah.
genuinely feel like you just love, I don't know, people, life, and yourself, and it just feels good. And like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the only time I felt happy.
I
Yeah.
can feel that.
I'm
You
gonna
know
sound
what
like
I'm
an
saying?
alcoholic for this, but like I'm really happy when I'm drinking with people, because everyone's so honest and you're so honest, and it's just
Oh,
good
yeah.
vibes. It's just good
Everyone is
vibes.
so honest.
That is true, bro.
Like that's prime time happiness for me. Is when I'm drinking with the homies.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Oh, feed.
What about
But
you, Anna? 'Cause
anyways, go ahead, Anna. Go ahead.
I know you're like a lone wolf type, so maybe you have
See?
like a differing opinion on that than us.
I really have no idea.
Yeah.
Literally
Yep,
zero
say that.
idea.
Say that.
Like,
Say that. No.
I never really just sat down and thought about whether or not I was happy.
Yeah.
I think instead of happiness, it's satisfaction.
Mhm.
Say
And if
that.
I'm satisfied,
Yeah.
then I think that somewhat translates to happiness, because if I'm satisfied, then I feel relief, I feel at ease, I feel good. And if I'm not satisfied, then I'm just like, I feel down, I feel, all the things that come with not being satisfied with yourself. So I don't know. That's a hard question. I don't know if that's weird.
I think
Okay,
I think that's a
So-
very interesting way to like reword the question, or like kind of add a new layer to it, that um it's not necessarily happiness, it's more like satisfaction.
Yeah.
That
I mean,
was good.
is that interchangeable? Like pleasure slash satisfaction, is that the same thing as happiness?
I think pleasure is completely different from
Yeah.
happiness. Pleasure, I feel pleasure when I play video games. Like I feel
Yeah.
pleasure when I watch 13 Reasons Why.
Like,
Pleasure.
Yo, what?
overindulgence.
Like,
Wait, what
I-
do
Hold
you
on.
Wait, what was that say?
What did this guy say?
Hold
Yo,
on.
we got an episode. I'm sorry. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel pleasure when I'm doing when I'm watching entertainment, and I'm entertained. It's pleasurable. Like when I eat food, that's pleasurable. Like I think happiness comes from like way deeper within. Like pleasure is
Yeah.
kind of like an outside thing where
I feel
happiness
like-
comes from.
Pleasure is something to mask your uncontentment, discontentment, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like pleasure can be a sort like happiness, but it also can be used to like stow away those feelings of like resentment you have and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that's how most people use it, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. 2018 so far.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I definitely do that. So
'Cause,
I'm
I live for the Twitter clout, but that doesn't necessarily make me happy
Yep,
once it's
credits
achieved.
to me.
Credits to Brian.
All me.
All right.
Well, we are well past our 30-minute mark, so thank you to all the baby girls who tuned in and listened to this very deep episode of Say That Podcast. Is there anything you guys like to say before we get out of here?
Thank you for listening.
And that's
Strangers.
good.
Tastes good.
Smackables.
Y'all might have just did something.
All right.
might have to dab.
Make sure to follow us on our Instagram, Twitter, and SoundCloud at Say That Podcast or Say That Pod. I don't remember which one it was. The links will be in our bios.
We'll see ya.
Yep. Peace out, baby girls.